Ja Morant was once considered the future face of the NBA, the next Allen Iverson, and the man who was finally going to turn the Memphis Grizzlies franchise around. But in 2023, everything changed. First, he got into a fight with a teenager. Then, he flashed a weapon on Instagram Live twice. Then, he's fined $75K for gun celebrations on the court. Then, he starts getting in players' faces, calling them bums, and now he's even clashing with his own coach, refusing to play, and seemingly wants out. But there's just one problem with that trade request. Nobody wants him anymore. Yes, Ja Morant's legacy is in freefall, and the worst part is that he has no one to blame but himself, which is what makes this story so tragic, because his rise was incredible. From being discovered in high school thanks to a bag of chips, and his gradual and then explosive growth in the NBA, everything was set up for Ja to shine. So, what happened? What made Ja so special in the first place, and what made him start destroying his own legacy? Well, to find out, we have to go back to the 2000s in South Carolina.
So much is very dangerous.
Demetrius Jamal Morant, or better known simply as Ja, was born in 1999 to parents T and Jamie in South Carolina. T was once a well-known hooper in the area, winning a state championship alongside future NBA player Ray Allen, before receiving a professional contract offer overseas after high school. However, once Ja's father got word that Jamie was pregnant, he decided to hang up his shoes to focus on raising his son.
He had that opportunity, and instead he took it to stay with me because I was about to be born, which is, I don't feel like it would be an easy decision for most. Like, you have a career, goal where you wanted to achieve, but you have a child on the way, and you took that instead. So I know it was definitely a tough decision, and he made that decision to be in my life.
The Morants, after realizing their child held the same passion as his father for the game of basketball, opted to construct a concrete court in their backyard where Ja could both train and where the family could invite local hoopers to scrimmage night in and night out. Yet there was an incident on their trampoline that would change Morant's life forever, as after being double bounced, Ja's left shoulder was dislocated, and due to him still growing, it resulted in his left arm being significantly longer than his right.
My left hand bigger as well.
A secret weapon that Morant would deploy as he climbed the ranks of South Carolina's basketball scene, to the point where he was competing alongside future #1 pick Zion Williamson in AAU. But colleges, despite the incredible skill and mind-boggling athleticism shown by the teenage Morant, weren't interested. However, a vending machine in his senior year would change everything. Because whilst attending a 2-day tournament, Ja was in a separate gym after not being selected to play on the main court, and an assistant coach for Division I college, Murray State, was hungry while scouting athletes. So he waltzed on over to a vending machine, and what he saw in that second gym as he walked past shocked him.
Just a few minutes of watching Ja, you just knew he was special. I called my boss right away and said, "You got to come up here and see this kid."
Morant, having not really received many other offers, gladly accepted a scholarship to attend Murray State, and after moving to Kentucky for his freshman season, Ja, now standing at 6'2", would carry State all the way to the NCAA March Madness tournament.
But he makes everyone around him better. His numbers reflect that.
Yet, the NBA didn't care. So, Ja would return for his sophomore season, fueled to prove the league wrong and achieve his lifelong dream. November 26, 2018, hungry to show scouts he was NBA ready, Morant was doing everything, showcasing not only his isolation scoring ability and tight handle, plus his speed and finishing ability, but his shocking athleticism.
12 seconds. Wow!
While Murray State had lost against Alabama, Ja's 38-point, 9-rebound, and 5-assist night, plus the SportsCenter top 10 worthy dunk, finally saw scouts turning their heads towards Morant. Because after becoming the first and only player to ever average 20 or more points and 10 or more assists a night in NCAA history. Yes, by the way, this is actually true. When I first heard this, I was blown away that no one had done that before. But yeah, Ja is actually the one and only player to ever do it. Then doing this in their conference tournament semi-final.
Isolated alone at the top.
Spinning. He gets the foul and the basket.
And leading Murray State to a March Madness victory against Marquette.
Allen Iverson DM'd you.
Yeah.
What'd he say?
He was just like, just keep working and
basically telling me that I was very talented.
Ja would rightfully declare for the 2019 NBA draft, but was he ready? Would his size, standing at just 6'2", but weighing 175 pounds, be too small for the league?
With the second pick in the 2019 NBA draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Ja Morant from Murray State University.
Yeah, I think he's a wonderful prospect. Like you said, kind of came out of nowhere. I love those guys with chips on their shoulders.
October 27th, 2019. 11 seconds remain, and without a clutch bucket here, the Grizzlies will be losing their third game of the season.
Seconds. Ja down the lane, off the glass and in with 7 seconds remaining.
However, they still had to get one more defensive stop if they were to send the game into overtime.
Against Morant. Irving, blocked by Morant. We're going to overtime.
But things didn't exactly go to plan during the extra period, because with 3.7 seconds left, Memphis was in danger of leaving yet another battle a loser, unless Ja Morant's incredible 30-point game, the first of his NBA career, recorded in just his third battle on the highest stage, had proved to all his doubters that Ja was legit. Yet, what he was about to do throughout the remainder of the 2019-2020 season was even more shocking. As in February of 2020, during a victory against the Washington Wizards, Morant's 27 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds meant, despite being a shorter guard, that Ja had recorded his first ever triple-double. But that's not all, as the second pick just kept delivering game after game in the clutch.
Morant down the lane, lays it up, and in!
As well as doing this against the Clippers.
Morant with a pump fake. Oh, better hit that. Yeah! Uh-oh.
Ja Morant's shocking rookie season, 17.8 points, 7.3 assists, 3.9 rebounds, and a steal per night, had analysts making some crazy predictions.
Ja Morant, I'm saying this right now, he's going to be an MVP in this league.
Whoa.
No, he's going to be an MVP in this league, and he's going to be arguably the best player in the game.
Which, when Ja was presented with the NBA's Rookie of the Year trophy, incredibly winning it over #1 pick, former teammate Zion Williamson, that seemed legit. But while his future seemed bright, Memphis was preparing for a brand new challenge, the recently introduced play-in game, a win-or-go-home battle which would see the victor advancing into the playoffs and the loser going home. Throughout the single elimination game, the three guards all drafted out of small colleges, Portland Trailblazers, Damian Lillard from Weber State, and CJ McCollum from Lehigh, plus Ja Morant representing Murray State, were exchanging blow after blow.
Morant again, the burst of speed, and throws it down.
An exciting matchup that shows you don't have to attend some big-name college to be a successful NBA player. However, despite Morant dropping 35 points in this crucial game, an early career high, the well-rounded and experienced Blazers were ultimately the team heading into round 1 of the playoffs. Yet, despite this devastating loss, Morant had clearly proved that he was on the rise, and what he was about to do in his sophomore season would only see more and more expectations placed on his shoulders. December 23rd, 2020.
Morant got DeRozan in the air, floats it up and in. Ja Morant.
Fueled after seeing how much the NBA world doubted them, predicting Memphis would only finish 10th in the West, Morant was doing anything and everything to push his Grizzlies into the win column. In fact, despite Memphis being down big as the clock approached triple zeros, Ja never quit.
Largest lead for San Antonio. Morant pulls up and rings the bell again. Morant off the backboard and he slams!
But while Morant would set a brand new career high of 44 points, a feat he followed up with a 28-point night, the Grizzlies would tragically start their new season 0-2. Yet things only got worse, as with Morant suffering an apparent leg injury shortly after their poor start while contesting a shot against the Brooklyn Nets, which resulted in him being wheelchaired off the floor, Grizzlies fans sat anxious, afraid that their rising star season was over. But thankfully for everyone in Memphis, it was likely just an ankle sprain, resulting in Ja returning to the court a few weeks later to continue his sophomore rise. Then, as the 2020-21 2021 season progressed, what Morant was beginning to show the NBA world had him receiving comparisons to other super athletic guards who placed a lot of pressure on the rim, such as MVPs Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook, with the reigning Rookie of the Year improving his averages across the board to 19.1 points, 7.4 assists, 4 rebounds, and a steal. Memphis had ever so slightly overperformed their predicted seeding, finishing 9th in the Western Conference. However, just like last year, thanks to the newly implemented play-in tournament, the Grizzlies were set to face off against the 8th-seeded Golden State Warriors for a chance for Ja to finally enter the postseason. But facing off against a 3-time NBA champion guard, Steph Curry, and his rising Warriors, many assumed Memphis was going to be repeating their play-in failure from 2020. Yet, Morant had other plans.
Morant, Curry goes underneath the screen. Morant nails another three-pointer, and Golden State needs a timeout. Double team, back out, Ja Morant. Puts it in. Ja Morant gets inside, loves that floater, and nails it. 29 for Ja Morant.
The 21-year-old's crucial 35-point night had incredibly seen his Grizzlies finally take that next step, eliminating Golden State and punching their ticket into the 2021 playoffs for a first-round battle against the Utah Jazz. However, could Memphis really defeat the number 1 seeded Jazz, or would this be the end of their postseason journey? May 23rd. 2021. Less than a minute remains, and while the Grizzlies had built themselves a 4-point cushion, an extra bucket here would almost guarantee victory.
Morant will try to drive.